So hello, this is Raza. I'm the head of IT at Unilever Pakistan, and I would like to introduce my career journey, which started back in 2005 when I graduated from NED University in computers and information systems. And my dream was always to become an IT professional who could contribute to the industry, of course, to my personal objectives, and an ever evolving tech specialist. And of course, my initial days were spent in learning the computer science, practicing the computer science on ground with my development skills, sharpened my database management. And back in the days we didn't have AI, but we had a lot of data centric projects, but more of transactional. We would be playing with architectural transportation of data from the business apps to the BI tools and analysis analytics at the business end. Now, I'm being part of the CPG or FMCG industry, and as you say, one of the surveys of McKinsey, which I would like to quote, is that CPG, in terms of the digital transformation, sits somewhere in the middle in terms of their digital maturity. And now, what we have faced is the rapid pace of digitalization in the environment, whether you talk about commercial, customer experience, or consumer acquisition. And of course, the most of it, which encapsulates all of these three areas, is supply chain. And you have to keep up with the pace of the industry and along with the internal transformation of all the processes which happen from one end of the business to other. And you talk about workplace productivity or employee experience. So what the challenge is, of course, to keep up with the pace. If you want to jump ahead of the curve, then you have to take everyone along. So you have to have a sustainable technology transformation. This is what the biggest challenge or also the opportunity is at the moment. Now, the very important question, and now I am kind of happy and pleased to inform the challenge which was there, but frankly and fortunately in Unilever, we have realized that for any tech transformation or digital transformation, you have to keep your IT function, right at the forefront and involve them early in the project. So the challenge that we faced was that we used to come in the party late, and the transformation agenda was pushed ahead of us. So we used to be a bit late to the party. When I can think of what I can think of is when I got an opportunity in my previous company and role to move towards the business side. So it was the first-hand experience to manage the business operations, and it was kind of a transformative role. And the biggest transformation that happened in that role was automating the entire Salesforce automation and bringing in the ERTM first time in the industry in that particular category. And it was one of a kind of a project, and really improved me as a professional, and allowed me, giving me an opportunity to appreciate how the business operations work and transforming it to the digital side of the things. Yeah, I think the project which really changed the course of my career, and which really set me and prepared me for bigger roles and endeavors, including coming here as head of IT at Unilever, was actually ERTM transformation, or you can, in simple words, Salesforce automation. For a company size which was distributing products around 300,000 outlets, and we were very conventional in terms of our distribution strategy, like paper-based invoicing in field. And of course, you can imagine how the data would come to us on an N+3, N+4 day cadence. And that transformation was a big change, a step change for the organization, not for just us internally, but for our distributors, for people on the ground. One of the biggest challenges that we faced was, in terms of the literacy, in terms of people, how much they are equipped with the technology. Back in the days, the smartphones were not really, the penetration was very low. So we had a lot of, resistance, a lot of change management that had to happen. But eventually, in a 2 years transformation journey of that ERTM project, we learned a lot of new things, how the business operates, what are the challenges that we face, that we come across. Many times the journey is very fast in our minds, but we have to look forward to the stakeholders and take everyone along. And I think the biggest objective eventually was not, growth was there, of course, but in fact data, which is now the key fuel for every organization. That data which we got after, and right after 5 years now, we have a good set of data which we are now modeling in terms of how do we capture the trends, how do we learn from that data, where is the gap in the field. That is the biggest objective met. So I think that project for me was a deal, you can say was a step change for me in my career. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, now we all know what we all appreciate. It's not a new thing that data is the fuel which drives all the engines. Here at Unilever, we have a transformation council, which we call Digital Council. And this comprises of not only us from IT, but everyone from the business. The key MC members or the management committee members from all the functions are part of it, and they unanimously and equitably decide what are the key digital priorities for the company. Now, when we talk about globally, Heinz Schumacher, who is leading Unilever, he has set an agenda for the next 2 to 3 years. And the key enabler of meeting all those strategic objectives is digital transformation. Now, here at Unilever Pakistan specifically, we are ahead of the curve in terms of the FMCG industry. And the core reason, the flexibility that we enjoy here, especially the mindset of our business leaders, and because they appreciate digital and they know how digital contributes, and the data basically contributes to their operations, to their growth objectives or their sustainability objectives. So we are at the forefront. We are really working and looking for opportunities of growth, for optimization of processes, and where we can employ data-driven decision making. Yeah, I would say, in terms of the data or digital maturity model, which it starts from immature, then you're intermediate, and then you're emerging, and then you're mature. We would call ourselves an emerging, because we have really crossed barriers in terms of the very initial stage of digital maturity, and working with data, employing data-driven decision systems. Or so we've already crossed that. Now we're trying to enhance and make ends connect in terms of employing the new data technologies, which includes AI or Gen AI per se. So now, for us, this journey is kind of getting more and more mature, and our vision for 2025 is to have touchless and machine-based decision points, where we are employing more and more fruitful technology, which is available to us. So, as I said, we have this internal agenda driven through the Digital Council, which includes not just the management committee, but all the extended management, which we call here in the T50, the top 50, which includes senior managers from every function, including our employee experience. Now, what we need is an equal understanding or a share of their upskilling at the functional side, along with what the projects which are driven from IT are coming to them. What requires or what helps us is our employee experience teams upskilling agenda, which is driven through multiple platforms. So we have something called Degreed platform, which requires people to put in their ratings, where they stand on particular skills in terms of digital skills, and eventually it helps them steer their upskilling journey. And then we have other timely or time to time different training programs, which are globally driven or locally driven. So what we are trying to do is to prepare the employee base, which with what they have today in terms of the technology that they have to use, and what is coming next or in future. So for me, at Unilever Pakistan, it's a very early time to even discuss, imagine what's next. At the moment, I'm very much enjoying and trying to learn the business, because it's a huge business in terms of the five business groups, business units. What I'm trying to do is, at the moment, trying to have a sustainable platforms which are driven by data and technology, and also trying to groom the team at the back who is actually making this happen. In the next 2 to 3 years, of course, my agenda is to further enhance the digital and data roadmap driven by the AI, IoT, and supply side or the digital factory operating system that we are running at all our factories. And our agenda is to reduce the human-based dependence, specifically on decision-making, decision tools, and digitizing our supply chain, which is eventually going to bring big-time optimizations, savings, and growth for the company. Absolutely. So now AI is for us, or even in general in tech industry, is not new now, because common people, whether you talk about workplace or in general, they have now started experiencing the AI in action. And now you talk about tools like chat gpt, which has pretty much democratized across the masses. Now they can see the power of AI, which is pretty much a large language model, which was born many years ago, particularly a decade ago. Now, what we need to do is to streamline and stabilize the operations through AI, and make sure that it's no more a buzzword, because it is part of our lives, whatever we're doing. So we're talking about shopping. It's giving us recommendations through an AI based engine. We're talking about planning of sales or demand planning. We are employing an AI based statistical model. And now we're talking about employee productivity, where we use chat gpt or internal gpt tools, which gives enhance our productivity at end. The second point which you mentioned, cybersecurity, of course, one of the very important aspects of today, because the more we are exposed, our business exposed to data or internet or cloud, the more it is important that we protect ourselves and the data of our consumers, customers, because it's all in there in the open, in private or public cloud. So one of the fastest growing tech disciplines is cybersecurity. And so we are fully committed to it. We have a platform which is globally supporting us in terms of protection, data privacy, infosec assessment. So what we call is everything is secure by design, by the way. Now, so one thing is, of course, the network and infrastructure. And as we have already in the last 2 to 3 years, we have seen the fastest transformation happening through the COVID times. Um, and I think it was a crossroad of already existing data, which was on-prem or within the premises, to the cloud. So that surgeons was on the rise, and now today 99% or almost 100% of our data and apps are hosted on cloud. Now with AI coming in, you can that technology which is on cloud is far more AI friendly, the tools which are available. So the machine performance or the machine's capacity has enhanced a lot. So now the democratization of these tools, or making them available to the end customers or end users, is far more flexible today with these AI and the improvement in the cloud space. I would suggest, in fact, before my suggestion, I can already visualize and have seen in my social circles that people are now, no more, the digitization or innovation is no more restricted to the multinationals only. It's all part of the local companies as well, because the vision has been pretty much proliferated around the organizations, around the communities. So suggestion would be to take all your initiatives that you want to do, and they need to be prioritized at the top level, because and the buy-in from the top business leaders is instrumental in bringing change. And then the second most important step is prioritizing, because at first everyone wants to digitize, and you can't digitize all the use cases. So you have to pick and choose, prioritize, and pick the ones which are the biggest value contributors for your company. I think next 12 months is not too far, but what I see, there are the multiple ways to answer this question. But from the consumer end, I think more and more consumers are choosing online channels, e-coms, d-coms, for their choices, for selecting products or for buying and shopping. And of course, we know the trends and product marketing which is happening on the digital space through different social media. So this is going to continue with more and more infusion of AI based data analysis, consumer profiling, and then of course product recommendations. So the entire consumer journeys are being mapped on your internet moments, and you are and you can measure your consumers your marketing efficiencies on digital. So more and more shifting of marketing or consumer activities on digital from the conventional. This is for sure. And then the second step, which is more from the internal transformation of the company, is more and more usage of AI based decision support models based on the data which is getting generated from supply chain, customer, manufacturing, and then eventually delivery to the last end. Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the things which, of course, Unilever it strives for sustainability of the planet as a whole, and for Pakistan especially. Of course, we are fully committed to water conservation, reducing the plastic footprint, and of course, the energy conservation. Now, when it comes to IT, of course, when we are trying to digitize our processes, whether it's the manufacturing end or towards the supply side or logistics, and or towards the end consumer side, all these digitization or digitalization projects, the one of the most important pillars that we always keep in mind is sustainability. Now we're talking about digitalization, so we're trying to reduce our print footprint, reducing the machine or mechanical footprint in terms of our servers, because most of our servers and data centers are all going on cloud. So reducing that footprint reduces the energy, reduces the paper, and whatever we have on prem. All these cloud-based migrations that we are doing, we're keeping sustainability at the forefront of it. Yeah, so actually, the start of the year was very, very challenging because of the continuous devaluation of the Pakistani rupee. And of course, we knew that back in the time, the central bank was very much picking and selecting the LCs which were to be opened. So many of our assets got stuck on the way, and we couldn't receive a lot of IT assets. Of course, most of the things, the most important thing is the laptop, of course, and the machines that people use in their productivity workplaces. And many of our services which are globally born, we could not, of course, secure the contracts, and we could not start many projects as well. I believe the situation has now improved, and we've started receiving the boxes and the equipments. And also the one thing which we experienced was agility, because we had to find ways to get stuff locally as well, some local services, and we have very good players in Pakistan. And we somehow this agility, right? You can compare it with the agility that we had to go through in COVID times, and it really helped us in finding ways to get things delivered in an agile way. Yeah. I think from the point of view of tech professionals which are out there in the industry, in the community, many of us have evolved over a period of time. We have seen different waves in tech industry. Now, whatever we're experiencing in terms of data, AI, and agile being at the forefront of project management, my message to everyone is to stay updated, and it's not really too different. Of course, the ways and the technology tech stack is ever evolving, but we, being the people who are at the forefront of this digital transformation, we have to be really we have to keep up to date with what's happening in the technology world, but equally get the sense of your business objectives and strategies. So if you align your company's business and strategic strategy with the tech trends and what are the things that we can contribute, we can really play a tremendous role in bringing this change.